Let's finish week 3 with the final chapter, 1 Chronicles Chapter 22. Week 3, A Legacy Beyond Ourselves. Chapter 22, Preparing for the Next Generation. This chapter is the perfect conclusion to our theme. Having identified the site for the temple, David, now an old man, dedicates his final days and resources to one single purpose: preparing everything his son Solomon will need to build it. He knows he will never see the temple, but he works tirelessly to ensure the next generation can succeed. A breakdown of the chapter. 1. Preparing the materials, verses 1 to 5. David declares, "This is the house of the Lord God." He then immediately begins gathering a massive stockpile of materials. He gathers foreign laborers to cut stone. He prepares iron in abundance for nails and hinges. He prepares so much brass it can't be weighed. He arranges for cedar logs to be brought from Tyre and Sidon. David's reason is touching and wise. "Solomon my son is young and tender, and the house that is to be builded for the Lord must be exceeding magnifical. I will therefore now make preparation for it." He knew his son lacked experience, so he did everything in his power to set him up for success. 2. David's charge to Solomon, verses 6 to 16. David calls for Solomon and gives him a personal charge. He explains why he can't build it himself. David tells Solomon that it was in his heart to build the temple, but God told him, "Thou hast shed blood abundantly, and hast made great wars. Thou shalt not build an house unto my name." David was a man of war. The temple required a man of peace. Solomon's name means peaceful. He passes on God's promise. He tells Solomon of God's promise that he would be the one to build the house, and that God would be a father to him. He gives the key to success. David's final instruction to Solomon is the key to the whole book. "Be strong and of good courage. Dread not, nor be dismayed. Take heed to fulfill the statutes and judgments which the Lord charged Moses, then thou shalt prosper." He hands over the resources. He details the incredible wealth he has personally set aside for the project: 100,000 talents of gold and 1,000,000 talents of silver, plus all the other materials. 3. David's charge to the leaders, verses 17 to 19. Finally, David commands all the leaders of Israel to help Solomon. He reminds them that God has given them rest from their enemies, and now they must dedicate their hearts and souls to seeking the Lord and building his sanctuary. Connecting to our theme, a legacy beyond ourselves, this chapter is the ultimate picture of living for a legacy beyond yourself. David's life dream was to build the temple. When God said no, he didn't pout or give up. Instead, he poured all his energy, wealth, and wisdom into making sure his son could achieve that dream. He did the hard, unseen work so that the next generation could do the visible, celebrated work. He prepared the materials, secured the finances, and passed on the vision. This is what it means to enlarge your coast, to have an influence that stretches far into the future, long after you are gone. Reflection. Questions for your group. 1. David knew his son was young and tender, so he did extra work to prepare the way for him. How can we better prepare and equip the next generation, in our families, church, or community, for the work God has for them? 2. God told David he was a man of war, and the job required a man of peace. How does this show that God has specific people for specific seasons and tasks? 3. What is one thing you can do this week to prepare materials for a future work of God that you may not personally see completed? Key takeaway for Chapter 22. The greatest legacy we can leave is to faithfully prepare the way for the success of the next generation.